choose our socks for success in all endeavors. Fortunes rises from the heel, and good luck for life.
Good morning. Today is Friday, November 29th, 2024. Today in history. On this day 100 years ago, Italian composer Giacomo Puccini passed away. Known for La Bohème, Tosca, and Madame Butterfly, Puccini was a leading figure in realist opera from the late 19th to early 20th century. He advanced traditional Italian opera's techniques, becoming its last great realist representative. Welcome to today's Ching Chow Morning News. Let's start with political updates.
Trump refuses to disclose donor list. According to the New York Times, on November 24, it was revealed that Trump has refused to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Biden administration, which imposes strict limits on funds raised by the presidential transition team. By bypassing this agreement, Trump could raise unlimited funds from unidentified donors for staff, travel, and office expenses related to the government transition. Trump is the first elected president to bypass donation rules, raising concerns among ethics experts. This allows donors seeking to influence the new administration to contribute directly to the president-elect without disclosing their identity or potential conflicts of interest. Petronas, Sarawak oil rights talks stall. Comprehensive news from Kuala Lumpur. Recently, negotiations between Sarawak Petroleum Corporation, a subsidiary of the Sarawak government, and Petronas over control of oil and natural gas resources have reached an impasse. Petronas has the right to develop and manage all onshore and offshore oil and gas resources in Malaysia. However, the federal government, seeking East Malaysian support, agreed to grant Sabah and Sarawak greater autonomy. In November last year, Sarawak appointed Sarawak Petroleum Corporation to replace Petronas as the sole natural gas aggregator in Sarawak under new regulations. However, Petronas has not completed the rights transfer. Some analysts suggest this impasse may affect the relationship between Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and members of the ruling coalition. Sarawak Prime Minister Abang Johari Tan Openg, key in pushing for this right, helped Anwar secure enough support to form a government after the November 2022 election. The Sarawak Party Alliance led by Abang Johari is the third largest political alliance in the unity government. Hezbollah fires 250 rockets in Lebanon. According to Reuters, on November 24, Hezbollah fired 250 heavy rockets into Israel. The Israeli military stated that many rockets were intercepted, sirens sounded across most of the country, and houses near Tel Aviv were destroyed or burned. At least 4 people were injured by shrapnel. Earlier, Israel attacked 12 Hezbollah command centers in Dahiya, a southern Beirut suburb. This was one of the deadliest and most violent attacks by the Israeli army in central Beirut. The Israeli-Lebanese conflict has killed 3,754 people in Lebanon since October last year. Iran to launch new centrifuge. According to Agence France-Presse, Iran recently announced the launch of new, advanced centrifuges in response to an International Atomic Energy Agency resolution condemning Tehran. The resolution, proposed by Britain, France, Germany, and the United States, calls on Iran to fulfill its legal obligations and explain uranium traces. A centrifuge is a machine that enriches uranium into gas through high-speed rotation and is essential for manufacturing nuclear weapons. The United States, Britain, France, and Germany expressed grave concern over Iran's plan to launch these new centrifuges, stating that it further expands Iran's nuclear program and urging the country to return to dialogue and cooperation. South Korea plans $6 million aid for Ukraine grain exports. According to Yonhap News Agency, on November 23, Kang In-sun, the second official of the South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs, attended the third Ukrainian Grains International Food Security Conference hosted by Ukraine via video. During the event, he announced that the Korean government plans to implement the Black Sea Grains for the World Food Program in 2025, providing an additional $6 million in financial aid for humanitarian projects. The Black Sea Grain Initiative, officially called the Initiative on the Safe Transport of Grains and Food from Ukrainian Ports, aims to transport Ukraine's grains, a major export, to countries facing food crises, such as Somalia and Yemen. South Korea has previously provided $3 million and $6 million in aid for related projects in the past 2 years. Australia withdraws social media misinformation bill. Comprehensive news from Sydney. On November 24, Australian Communications Minister Rowland announced that due to a lack of cross-party support, the government abandoned legislation aimed at forcing social media platforms to combat misinformation. The Australian Labor government had planned to introduce the Communications Legislation Amendment Bill to address harmful content, but it faced strong opposition in the Senate. The proposed bill would have allowed the government to fine technology companies up to 5% of their turnover for violating new online security obligations. The opposition criticized the bill as an attempt to suppress free speech. Although the misinformation bill was shelved, the government is advancing another bill to ban children under 16 from using social media nationwide. Malaysian court orders government to return 172 Swatch watches. Comprehensive news from Kuala Lumpur. Swiss watch company Swatch Group recently won a lawsuit against the Malaysian government. The Kuala Lumpur High Court ruled that the Ministry of Home Affairs must return 172 seized watches, including rainbow-themed Pride Series watches. In May last year, law enforcement officers from the Ministry of Home Affairs raided 11 Swatch stores in major malls such as Pavilion Kuala Lumpur, Utama Plaza, Sunway Pyramid, Mid-Valley City Mall, and Surya Mall in Sabah, seizing 172 watches, including Pride Series watches with LGBT and a rainbow theme. Judge Amarjit Singh stated that while the government issued a ban on these watches in August last year, the seizure took place in May, making it an illegal act. If the watches are damaged, the plaintiff can seek compensation.
According to Global Financial News, the main contract of the Container Shipping Index, European line, recently fell below 2,800 points, a drop of 16%. That's all for today's Qingchao Morning News. Thanks for watching. Join us at the same time tomorrow.